All right, today we're diving into a true American classic. We're going to uncork the entire story of bourbon. We're talking its history, its legends, and the incredible craft that goes into the whiskey you know.
Okay, so let's start right here. Take a really good look at this image with me. I mean, on the surface, sure, it looks like an amazing label for a bottle of bourbon, right? But it is so much more than that. This single image, believe it or not, holds the entire story of bourbon. And that's what we're going to do here. We're going to uncork that story piece by piece.
So first up, let's uncork the story itself. We're going to explore the promise that's held right there inside the bottle.
So let's just start with a simple question. What are we really looking at here? You know, it's easy to see the bottle, the glass, the barrels, but what do all these things actually mean when you see them all together like this?
And because this is the key, this isn't just about a beverage. What you're actually looking at is a map of American heritage. Every single piece of this picture, from the way the letters are designed to that rustic little scene in the background, it tells a part of a much bigger story.
So let's begin with that history. First section, a distilled history. We're going from the frontier all the way to an American icon. This is really where the story of bourbon kicks off.
Now here's what's so cool about this slide. I want you to look past the bottle for a second, way into the background. You see that rustic building? The one with the smoke curling out of the chimney? That's the distillery. That's the heart of bourbon's origin story. It takes you back to a time of pioneers on the American frontier who were using the very grains they grew to create something that was powerful and just uniquely theirs. You know, this history is so fundamental that back in 1964, Congress actually made it official. They declared bourbon America's native spirit. And that's not just some clever marketing slogan. No, it's a legal recognition of its deep, inseparable connection to the land. We're talking the corn, the special limestone-filtered water in Kentucky, and of course, a proud history of American craftsmanship. It basically protected bourbon as a uniquely American product. So, okay, history gives bourbon its roots, its foundation. But that's only part of the story. There's this whole other layer to it, something a little harder to pin down.
Which brings us perfectly to our next section, myths and legends, or, as I kind of like to think of it, the spirit behind the spirit.
So if history is the foundation, you gotta ask, right? What gives bourbon its soul? Because it's more than just a recipe and a set of rules. It's really about the stories.
It is all about the stories. Every great bourbon has one, and they're usually filled with pioneers and rebels and master craftsmen. I mean, we've got tales of these accidental discoveries, like, charring a barrel to clean it out after it was used for storing fish, only to find out that it created these amazing vanilla and caramel flavors. It's these legends that add this layer of romance and character that you can't manufacture it.
And this image illustrates that perfectly. Just look at that splash of amber liquid literally exploding from the bottle. That's not a calm pour, is it? It's energetic, it's wild, it's alive. It totally captures the spirit of those frontier legends. All that energy, that rebellion, and the untamed character of early America. Okay, so we've got the history and we've got the legends. Now let's roll up our sleeves and get into the craft. Section 3, From Grain to Glass, where we'll explore the essential steps of how this stuff is made. And this is where every single element we've talked about comes together. It all starts with the grain, which you can see right there in those weak stalks on the label. Now, by law, the recipe, or the mash bill, has to be at least 51% corn. That's what gives bourbon its classic sweetness. Next up is the distillation. That copper still in the picture, it's not just for looks. That's where the fermented grain mash gets heated up to separate the alcohol, concentrating it into a clear, unaged spirit that people call white dog. Then we get to maybe the most critical step, the aging. Those oak barrels are mandatory, and they have to be brand new and charred on the inside. That char creates this layer of caramelized wood sugars that the spirit just soaks up, and that's where all the color and so much of the flavor, your vanilla, your caramel, your oak, comes from. And then finally, after years of just being patient, you have the spirit, the beautiful result of all that craftsmanship, ready for the bottle and, of course, the glass. And that brings us to our final section, a legacy in liquid form. It's time to bring all these different threads together into one place. So now, when you look at this image, you don't just see a drink anymore, do you? You see the rustic distillery that represents American history. You see the explosive, untamed energy of its legends, and you see the step-by-step process of genuine craftsmanship. It is all right there. History, legend, craft, all of it captured in a single glass.
So I'm going to leave you with this thought. The next time you see a glass of bourbon,
whether it's on a label or maybe in your hand. I want you to look a little bit closer. What story will you see?